Or to the channel, Trucker Rod and the S.E.E channel here. And before we get started on our subjects, I'm going to give it a few minutes. We all decided to just kind of give the first few minutes to get some people in the chat. And as always, I forget to turn the volume down. I knew there was something. Okay. And this one. Right on. Okay. If you could, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're still growing. And I put in the description, if you all could, we have another channel, RK Auto Detailing. If you could, subscribe and like a few videos there. Trying to get that up over the 50 subscriber mark to be able to go live as I proceed with detailing here in the future with vehicles. I've got quite a few scheduled this next week, but anyhow, oh, what else? And don't forget, once we get to 1,000 subscribers, which is one of the other channel, we are going to send out a care package of detailing in a bucket from Jack's Wax. So that will be given to that 1,000 subscriber, and I'll probably do one when the other channel hits 1,000 subscribers also. So with that said, how's everyone doing? This week is a short week. I left yesterday instead of Sunday because I only had 5 stops. And it just covered a couple states. I didn't even go down into Virginia this week. I already had a Virginia customer call, and I guess their order got missed last week, so it was supposed to be on this week's truck. But yeah, so I'm going to be busy. I'm off next week, and I'll probably be around the homestead and all that, maybe shooting a video. But I won't be back on the road until the week after Labor Day week. So I got a lot of projects around the house and a few details to wrap up. So, and we got a lot of exciting news, but that's probably going to be stuff that's going to come in October. So I'm going to hold off on that until things progress and come into fruition. I am in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. I am at the 127 and the Bluegrass Highway. Sorry, north of Danville and south of Lexington here, right on the corner. It's a new truck stop. They just opened in March of this year, Arco, and it's right on the corner on the southeast corner of the highway. Bluegrass Parkway goes east and west, and 127 north and south. So I am right here. Stop in if you're over in this area. Right now, this parking lot, and get you over here. Plug you. Just take a look. It's a brand new truck stop. It's probably 6 months old. That's how much parking I have. Showers are like 10 or 12 bucks. Brand new. The whole store is brand new. The whole building, everything is brand new up there. They have a sit-down diner in there. They're waiting to get their liquor license to be able to serve on one side of the restaurant. They have a hot bar. They have a cigar. I want to say cabinets for all various types of high-end cigars. They have all kinds of stuff in there, and very impressed. They gave me a tour the last time I stayed here. I've stopped in passing, but the last time I stayed here, I got a full tour. Yeah, they built this place from ground up. It was a truck stop before, but they bought it and they just bulldozed everything up. Graded the driveway, re-asphalted it, new pumps, new fuel island, new building, and everything new inside. So places like this, and it's a mom pop, it's not a national chain, so it was just a family, and it's not just mom and dad or anyone. It's the whole family that went in on this place. So they're all in there running it round the clock 7 days a week. So very nice. I was gonna go in there, but when I got here, it got shut down, cleaned up, made some dinner, and I want to go in there after the live stream and check it out and see what's happening. Anyhow, yeah, so Arco, ARCO, right on the corner here of 120, the Kentucky 127, and it's the Bluegrass Parkway or the 9002, however you want to, look on the maps as 9002 Highway, but it's the Bluegrass Parkway. Very nice here. And it's pretty peaceful, quiet. It was last time, and I don't think no one's bum rushing in here. And what is it, 6:30 at night? And no one new has come in. If anything, a few guys have left because they came in due to 30, or they probably parked overnight and now they're going. So anyhow, let's talk about. Oh, and I forgot to put this thing on landscape again. I did it last week, and I did it again because I'm looking down here at the tablet, and I'm like, damn it. Yeah, I was trying to get everything all set, and then I forgot to click that button before I put us over in the live. Apologize for that. So I know all of the other YouTubers that drop in on this rail me for it every now and then. And yeah, I know I'm supposed to be in landscape. So, what can you do? I would try my GoPro. I did a ride along today from, where did I do the ride along? Come on, I did it from Charleston, West Virginia, as I came down off from the 79 in the Charleston, through Charleston, and out to Danville, West Virginia. So I did that today. It was about 45 minutes of recording. Just as I came down the ramp in the Danville, West Virginia, I looked up and the GoPro was off. And once I got stopped and looked at it, it got me just right going into Danville, and it shut itself off. I don't know what's up with that, but I definitely got to find a different camera system besides that, or just get a newer generation of GoPro. But anyhow, the whole thing with the infinite trucking and in the horizon, it's something I've been working on for years, and I know I want to have an exit strategy, because I remember in the 90s being in trucking and doing this line of work. After a while, it gets redundant, it gets tiresome. You get, as we talked about, mental health and trucking, you start getting time away from home. You start getting disconnected from your family and home life, because you're so ingrained with the road life out here. And eventually, I know in the 90s, I think after 8 years at one company, I said, there's got to be more than this. And I said, it can't be this every day for 30 years. It's kind of like being a factory worker, going in doing the same repetitive thing on the assembly line. And you feel like a hamster on a wheel until you either burn out or die. You're just on that wheel. The steering wheel is the wheel. You're hanging on to it, and you wonder, what else is there? And people are like, well, be fortunate you got a job. But I know how to do other things, and I'm moving forward on getting those other things implemented and moving to where then I can transition out and change my paradigm from being in trucking to doing other things. It's, said that you got to have an exit strategy. And I've heard a lot of truckers bring this up from time to time. I would say your lifetime in trucking should be about 10 years, and you should be looking at, if you're a regional or over-the-road driver or long haul, to either get something local where you're 8-10 hours a day, go home, or get out of it completely. This should not be the end all, be all end all of your career. You should start looking at getting yourself aligned to do something where you go, either you start a business or you go to a job that you can just, do your time locally and go home, have your home life with your spouse, with your kids, for yourself, whether you like to hunt, fish, recreational, camping, whatever it may be. But you've got to allow yourself, that freedom and that time away from this job, because even though I'm shut down tonight, I'm still in this truck. And I spend a lot of time in it. And even when I was in the day cab, then you're looking for hotels. Then you're getting in a different hotel every night. You don't know how dirty and dingy and stinky the place is, because most of the hotels that you can stay at with a day cab, 53-foot trailer, you gotta check with these hotels, and you gotta start keeping track of the ones that you can get in with semi truck parking, because there may be a lot of, there's a nice hotel there, and there, but do they offer semi truck parking? Well, yeah, but it's a mile down the road. All right, in the wintertime, in the pouring rain, you want to walk with your bags and gear to the hotel for a mile or 100 yards into that hotel, load up in the room, then either walk out and walk to a restaurant or order in. So now you're paying big money to get food ordered in. It was just a pain in the ass. It was way more work being in the hotel than it is here in the truck, sleeper truck. And my life's easier being in this truck than I was in a day cab. And I've got most everything dialed right in, where I pretty much can 99% of the time know where I'm going to be parked for the night. And but been getting pretty excited. The business is I got some things wrapping up going in October. It's going to free me up a lot of time, for which then I can concentrate on those businesses. And I want to say, when we surface out of the winter in the next spring and summer, things are really going to be looking up. And like I said, I've got to get that stuff cash flowing to where, as we're downsizing our debt and our stuff, I want to be able to allow myself. I could probably make half the money I'm making right now if I follow through with my plan. And that's, like I said, getting rid of debt, downsizing the things we have, and allowing myself more of my personal time back. So, I'm trying to get that back. Someone had asked, what's a big asset, like in investing, and, a big asset for me. And I said, what's the biggest deal or biggest asset thing is time. Time is what you cannot get back. You can't get back what happened yesterday, a year ago, 10, or a lifetime ago. Time is marching forward each and every day. You've got to construct it to a point where you're maximizing your time, to where you're feeling like you're enjoying life on this planet. You're celebrating life. You're enjoying the people around you, your spouse, your kids, your family. You're able to get out and do things. And with time, taking good care of your health, so you're not, as you're buying, for me, buying back my time, I can also, when I get where I don't need to work as hard, I can concentrate more on my, health and well-being, fitness, as I was when I met my wife. And since I've gotten in the truck, I'm fit, but I'm not anywhere near I was 13 years ago, 14 years ago. So it's getting your time back. And you can sit out here and you can go cross country in a dedicated lane. It's still, you're away from home. It's just after a while, I've been hammering at this 11 straight years, and that's not including the 12 other years. 13 years I had in prior to me stepping out of trucking and going to school and working in healthcare. So I'm coming up on 25 years total. But I've always noticed, once I've hit that 10th year, I'm getting kind of antsy. And I got to start making some changes. And the big thing we took spearheaded was addressing our debt and saying, look, I want to be zero debt. And going forward, after we hit that zero, is not to ever leverage up on the banknotes again unless it's for business, not personal. But you don't want to be a debt slave to the banks because you want a new car, new truck, boats, RVs, toys, credit card debt because you want to go to Disney, you want to go on a cruise, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, look, if I can't pay cash for it, or if the cash isn't in the bank to do it, I'm not doing it. Um, but I would rather have my freedom to be home 7 days a week, step out of my office at the house, sit out on my porch and watch a sunset, and have that freedom on a Monday than being out here on a Monday, Tuesday doing a live stream. And again, it's not that I got anything against the company I'm working for. It's the trucking industry in general. The policies are absolutely chokeholding down more and more. And with these foreign actors here, and I'm just being polite saying that I don't want to be around them. Zero. So I'm just taking action. I'm taking control and just saying I'm going to put myself in a different direction in the near future that will allow me to go in a direction I want to go in, not what the world tells me to go in. So that's why I don't follow politics, because it does me no good. Um, they don't tell me what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm playing in their little system, but for the most part, I just concentrate in my economy bubble of mine, and keep marching forward, and just don't let the outside noise affect us as we march towards our plan, and um, not what others have planned for us. There's the social norm. What did they call that? The social norm. And I've never been part of the social norm. I've always done things differently, but I don't want to say I'm totally eccentric and marching at my own beat. But I like to do things I want to do, and sometimes they don't agree with the social norm. But I'm not a leader. I'm more of a trailblazer. I'm not a leader, and I'm not a follower. I'm just blazing my own trail, and I think a lot of people need to do that, especially being in this industry. Like I said, at some point, you've got to start thinking of, some people in this industry have said, "Hey, I paid off my mortgage, I paid off my car." They could take a local job working 40 hours a week, and then they take night classes, go to night school, college and all that. And I take it that sun is hitting just, I don't know if that's going to help. So, what do we got in the chat? Senior moment. Senior moment, my butt. Let's see. There was a message deleted. Okay. So yeah, I we started looking at areas like part of our plan, not only starting businesses and being in control of ourselves, how we make money, but also where we want to live. And we started looking in 2018. I want to say in the winter of 2018, we just started poking around, looking at places, because we watched my dad and stepmom. They had all the opportunity to snowbird and travel when they retired, and they were able to retire young in their early 60s, and they did not. And my in-laws did, though. He retired at 59 and a half, and they hit the ground going the first winter and started snowbirding right away to Florida, and they did that for 13 or 15 years, and till their health got the best of them where they couldn't travel anymore. And I said, why am I going to stay on this hamster wheel and say, you know what, when I hit 70, 75, then we'll go travel and do this and that. There's no guarantee tomorrow or next year I'm going to have the health to do that. Let alone if my health takes a tank that I prematurely exit myself out of this industry. That's why I said I'd give yourself 10 years, right in there, and you should be looking to be exiting out and moving into a different line of work. You could be a manager for a carrier, a logistics company, manager or some kind of personnel, at a warehouse, cross dock, something of that sort. And but just getting yourself out of the truck to where you can hang on to your sanity and yet keep connected to your community, your family, and all that jazz. Yeah, after a while, you get home and you just don't know what to do with yourself. Either sit around or you do chores around the house till it's time to go back out in the truck. And I said it's getting to be redundant. The same, it seems like the same thing. And so we started running numbers this summer, and I said, all right, XYZ. I said, we're getting near the threshold we need to be at. Put it that way, with the minimizing. And we paid off a shit ton of debt, and hopefully a lot more coming up here. And that's going to allow us more leverage. So the financial freedom, and everyone said when you own your house and you're financially free, your paradigm and the way you think and act going forward is going to change. You're going to have a different outlook, and you're not going to want to go back to that. Taking out bank loans and all that and having that stress. And of course, what gets you up every day? Your mortgage payment, your car payment, credit card payment. It's that stuff that drives you, that when you're so burned out and tired and you're getting up, say 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and you're just dragging ass, where I'm trying to get myself aligned where if I'm getting up to see the market, as far as the market opening. And we want to live too, instead of traveling to go get away from the winters in Michigan, is just to go live where we want to live and retire there, instead of just visiting and going back. Because I said that's just tiresome. I watched my mother-in-law pack and unpack the RV to go to Florida and then come back and unpack, and it's just, and to be home for 6 months and then turn around, get everything ready, the truck, the camper, make sure everything's road ready and worthy to go down to Florida, because they go from Michigan to Florida every year. And I just said, I'm not gonna put us through that. If we want to travel, we'll get in the car, we'll get some hotels, and we'll go see the sights. But we'll just do it that way instead of dragging a house behind us. And but we're going to live full time where we want to live. That when we're 85, 90 years old, and we can't no more than travel to the store or maybe a medical appointment, and that's it. But as far as driving across country, at least we're able to look out and see a lot more sunsets and sunrises than to be cloud covered and 2 feet of snow outside, 10 below zero. That's not the way I want to live in my future. So we have been planning and designing this out, and I think a lot of people should take that action. Now, granted, my wife's been on board since day one. She has supported me since 3 months after we've been together. I laid out going back and finishing chiropractic school, and then doing, and we opened a business and all that. She's been supporting me right along. And I can tell you, I've been around other females when I've dated that are like, just go out, work, get the bills paid. Basically, they're just ingrained into that society norm. Get a W-2 job, working for an employer, just bring home the paycheck, let's play house. It's like, yeah, I want more out of life than that. And I know I've got the potential, and I have the potential. I've got the confidence and the certainty now, more than I did 5 years ago, to say this is going to work. And as this year progressed on, I got more and more certain that, hey, let's just do this, this, and this, and let a lot of stuff go. And I said, everything is on the table for sale at our house. I think the only thing I probably would not sell materialistically is the wife's car, the trailer to tow the golf cart, because where we end up living is in a resort out in Arizona that would allow us to use the golf cart. But I said, hell, my lifted truck, and I said, that's on the table. I sell that. I'm not attached to it. Everything, it's, if it's not bolted down, then let the realtor sell it, at some point in the future. So material things don't mean anything to me, because I've grown less and less fond of stuff and more fond of my time and my freedom to be able to do what I want without being committed to my stuff, whether it's taking care of it or keeping it up and all that. So yeah, infinite trucking, that's what it means. Is you're just going to be on that hamster wheel, turning and turning and turning, unless you start sitting down and designing a plan that is going to be right and suitable for yourself, to say, hey, I've got to get out of this truck. What could you align yourself to go do differently that would give you a peace of mind of more home time and having more connection with your wife and kids, spouse, if it's a female I'm talking to out here. But you've got to think clearly. And many of the drivers have said, yeah, I did 10 years, that was it, and then I went and did this and this. They said, I won't go back. They said that was too much time away from home and too much wear and tear on their mental and physical health. And I would agree. That's probably that timeline when you need to look at just saying, getting that exit strategy together and moving forward and moving on from trucking. You see a lot of these foreign actors in these trucks, 2, 3, or 4 of them shacked up in those things, running them around the clock 7 days a week. These guys have no plan. They are working for a company that is threatening and pressuring them to keep that truck moving. Or I've heard, Ike at Bonehead Truckers, where a guy had said, look, I came here, I was financially underwater. I came to this company to make extra money. They pushed him, and then he's like running illegal, and they're resetting his logs. And now if he tried to get back to the yard, they said, well, if we see the truck starting to come towards the yard, we'll just call the authorities and say you stole the truck. So you get into those scenarios. And I told my wife, I said, the day that ever happened to me, I would just phone a DOT way station, tell them what they're threatening me with. The truck's not stolen, here it is. Toss the DOT officer the keys and walk down the ramp, or get an Uber and just get the hell out of there, leave them the truck, let them get it towed and impounded, and then the company can deal with it. But that's what I would do if I was in that guy's situation. And I don't know, there's so much shady stuff like that going on, threatening these drivers, policies, and these blue states just doing this, so much nefarious acts out here in the trucking industry that's leaving the roadways unsafe for all of us, whether you're a truck driver or a family in a SUV. It's getting crazy, and that alone is telling me, hey, I'd rather be sitting on the front porch and watching the news and seeing, like, that Florida accident with the illegal U-turn. I want to be sitting on my front porch when that stuff starts happening every single day. I'm just telling myself, hey, I'm not out there, I'm out of harm's way, I'm going to sit home, I'm going to do my thing. So yeah, I'm just looking over at the chat there. So anybody, where are we at here time wise? We're coming up on 30 minutes. I have rambled long enough. Hopefully that gets someone insight to say, that 10-year window, and that could be sooner. But man, the longer you stay out here, the lazier your mindset's going to be to push yourself to get out of the truck. If you're shooting for 15, 20 years, it's like, when does it end? You got to end it at some point. But 10 years is the kind of the sweet spot. But if you can get out sooner, um and I've seen people get out of trucking sooner over having to quit driving to go home to take care of family because of their health, or their health took them out. But in either case, you really do need to be smart when you're out here making good bank. If you are making good bank at the company you're at, to be paying off your debt and building a nest egg, so you can have an exit strategy to get out at some point, so you're not on that hamster wheel just turning and burning, and you'll burn out or you're gonna die holding on to the wheel. That's it, man. That's my piece on that. I've said what I've had to say on that, and if anyone's got anything to chime in about the life of being out here on the road, um I've done everything I wanted to do. Um, Seen what I wanted to see by way of trucking, and it's ran its course. It's how do I want to say? There isn't anything out there that I'd be like, man, I'd like to go do that, or I'd like to be in that, or what have you. And I'm like, no, I got too many other cats to skin, and at home to really expand my money making without having to be away from home and do what I do here. So, what all do you got to say? Anybody got anything to throw in the chat tonight? It's kind of quiet. And, is there anything, hey, when I'm home next week, is there anything you guys want to see or talk about? I won't be in the truck, but I'll either be at my second place or I'll be at home. I got to bounce between the two because I got jobs scattered 2 hours away from each other. But if there's something you guys want to have a discussion on, let me know. Yeah, so wish I had more I could bring to you guys, but that's basically it. I got so many things under wrap right now at home that nothing's come to fruition to really open a discussion on. There'll probably be more to say in 12 to 15 months from now, but not at this point. So we're still in the early innings, and but I do have something big going on that I definitely will probably bring in towards Halloween, and we'll talk then. And once that second place is buttoned up and taken care of, we'll be home more on the weekends to where we can live stream from the house too. And if we should slow down, like this week was a slow week with 5 stops, and I've gotten 4 out of the 5 done. I left yesterday at 2 a.m. Got south of Hagerstown, Maryland, unloaded there, got my fuel, and I left Hagerstown, Maryland this morning at 3:45 in the morning. Well, just before 4 a.m. Left there, went to Danville, West Virginia, which is southwest of Charleston, then out across Kentucky, through all eastern Kentucky, western West Virginia and eastern Kentucky, all the way to London, Kentucky, up here to Danville, then of course here in Lawrenceburg. And I pounded all that pavement down today, and like I said, I just got one more stop actually on my way in tomorrow, so I should be home late afternoon, early evening tomorrow. So yeah, it's been pretty much a good couple days. And if things start going this way where we're slowing down, now the trailer was only a third loaded, so therefore I don't think so, because of national shows. I keep thinking, yeah, we're probably going slow, but I'll probably pick up for the month of September. We'll probably be busy going into the 1st of October with all the national manufacturer shows that we deal with. So people are going to be ramping up inventory, and with that said, we'll probably be busy for a few weeks in September to fulfill the orders, but then it'll taper back off going into mid-late fall and into the winter. I would expect things to kind of fizzle out and be kind of ho-hum, putting along and slow. So we'll see how, and I'm keeping my eyes and finger on the pulse of the economy and what it's doing day to day. And we are definitely slipping in, and we're, I think we've been in a recession, but it just depends on who you talk to. If someone's making, 250 to 500,000 a year or more, then, the last 5 years hasn't affected them. If you made like 150 and under, you've probably been feeling the changes in the economy over the last 5 years. So all we've done is just not take vacations, not bought anything other than bare essentials, and that's been it. And we've thrown everything in the kitchen sink at debt right now. So but yeah, I would say we're still sitting good and we're not hurting. But yeah, so I don't see anything ramping up on the chat. If you guys don't have anything here, I'll give you another minute or two, and then I'm gonna call it a night. Go mosey around in the new truck stop here, and just to get some walking in, and now I'm gonna call it a night. I spent Sunday night in the truck here, and so that way I didn't have to get up and drive in the middle of the night. So I came in Sunday evening, and then I got up at 2 a.m. and rolling Monday morning, and then I got up at just before 3 a.m. today and got rolling just by no later than 4. I think it was like 3:45, 4 o'clock in there. And where I got to deliver tomorrow is going to be a mid-morning appointment, so I'll have some time to sleep in. So I'm looking forward to that. Get a little extra sleep. So get back, and this thing's going in for a service while I'm off, and that's been it. So that's all I got, folks. Kind of a quiet, boring week. Uneventful. 5 stops. Started yesterday. 4 of them are done. I got one on my way out towards Louisville, and I'm running for the house. So look for a ride along video this week. I just got it downloaded off the GoPro, but outside of that, stay safe, continue educating yourself. Knowledge is learned, not taught, and we will see you folks the next video.